Hey, what's up, guys? This is Morey Croson again from the Performance Lab of California doing a QB breakdown here. Today we're going to do Bryce Young. Bryce Young has actually come into the lab before. Really, I mean, just has a good way of throwing the football. That's why he's had a lot of the success that we had. Got a request to actually do the breakdown of Bryce Young, so we're going to go through that today. The big thing that we want to focus on is really, what makes his throw a little bit different than some of the other throws that we'll see, or any of the other quarterbacks we see, and then also some of the things that we think he could work on. So one of the things that stands out to me when he gets ready to throw the ball is, and I've started to try to teach this more and more with quarterbacks, with pitchers, and even with sprinters, is we need to be able to create more force into the ground. Use the ground more as your way to generate power. And that's one of the things you see with Bryce is watch how he loads and he's going to push down hard into the ground, especially with that back leg. Watch that back leg really cork and get ready to begin the motion of him starting to transfer the ball forward. I know that a lot of people just think, oh yeah, he's just got a great natural arm strength. I think I've seen him, I've been around him, I've see what his arm can do. There's some strength within his arm, and he has good overall positioning of the shoulder. But there's also some areas that are very, I guess, not as strong, right? So there's parts of his shoulder that could definitely get better, and we went through some of the things that he can improve on there. But to me, what I think is really what makes it seem like he has that superior arm strength is really his superior ability to create force with the ground. Again, watch him load up into the ground. He also has that kind of Patrick Mahomes style kind of foot step. See how his knee is actually inside of the foot, and we'll see that better when we get into the deep ball. But then from there, now he has plenty of room to rotate in the hips and get everything through. And you can see he does a great job of, again, using the ground as he throws. Watch his front leg here. I'll lower this a little bit. Watch his front leg. Watch how it's on its toe. And then as he transfers through, he pushes down on that heel. Okay. A lot of times we see the other thing or the other way, where people have their foot flat on the floor and then their heel comes up as they go. All right, that's different than how Bryce does it, how he's pushing down with the heel, and that's one of the things that we try to talk to people all the time about, is push down with that heel. Okay, so that's one of the good and interesting things that Bryce Young does that we want to be able to really try to replicate. Okay, this is more of the deep ball. You'll get to see more of what I was talking about with the steps. So see what he does, how he kind of turns and points that heel towards the target. What that does, and this is actually a pitcher hack, is if you point the heel at the catcher or point the heel at the target, it makes it so your hips end up becoming more neutral. Okay, and he really does that naturally again. So he just goes and points that heel kind of towards the target, and that's going to make it so his hips become in a neutral position. And now he's going to step down with that toe. He's going to turn that knee out as he's coming through to make it so he gets a lot of motion into that hip rotation. Then he also pushes down with that front heel to generate that great ground force, as he does a good job of just syncing up the whole throw. So you could see how the hips come through right when the shoulders are coming through, and then that really propels the arm forward, which makes it so he can make the throws that he does. Okay, so again, the big point to understand here is that it's not as much about his arm strength as it is his ability to really create force in the lower body and create force in the ground. You can even see too, he has great athletic legs. He's got strong athletic legs. I know he's not as tall, but he's still able to create a lot of force. If you look at him, he's in terms of height, in terms of weight, there's not anything that's like crazy about him where it's like, man, this guy should, is bred to be a great quarterback. Instead, he's just, I think, wants it really bad. He wants to be a great quarterback really bad, and because of that, he's figured out ways to be able to utilize his body to achieve what he wants to achieve. Okay, and I think that's a big part of kind of the developmental process. You got to figure out, how can I use the foot better? How can I use the ground better? How can I use my hips better? What are the parts of my body that I'm not optimizing? That's why I'm doing these videos in the first place. I want to give you guys ideas for how you can better utilize the different areas. You can get more force out of your foot and out of your ankle. You can get more force out of your hips and out of your core. You can get more force if you have a good clean release. Okay, just look to see where you could be missing. So let's look. We'll go more into his release here, because his release is very, very smooth. So first, he starts out with that good 90-90 position. His elbow, shoulder about the same height. The nose of the ball is pointing at least towards the target, right? He doesn't just bring the ball straight up. That's a thing that a lot of guys do. Well, they'll just bring the ball straight up this way. He doesn't do that. He loads and cocks the ball first, and then from there, he's going to go and get that elbow right through. Okay, the ball gets a little bit behind his head. He kind of brings it back right there. Okay, but overall, and everybody's going to do that, it just makes it so he can put a little bit better stretch onto his pec. Overall, though, it's not very much wasted motion going back, but instead he's trying to get that elbow right through because of how quick his body's moving forward, those hips are moving forward. You could see, too, how much of a shift his body's going through as he's going through the ball. So you could see how laterally he's moving from here to here very fast and very strong, so he really has to bring that ball through as quickly as he can. That's what increases that release time, or sorry, I guess decreases that release time, is because he gets such a great lateral push, and that gives him momentum to then fling that ball right through, which is really what increases that arm strength. I also want to say, look how he finishes. Finishes with a very strong front leg. You got to have a strong front leg. Okay, if the front leg isn't strong enough and it doesn't have a good mobility within the foot, it's going to be hard to be the best quarterback that you could be. So I could tell you this, is that you need to be able to really strengthen that front leg and be able to allow all your weight to shift forward onto it. I mean, look at how much he's getting onto that front leg, but he's able to stabilize it and control it because of how much strength he has there. Okay, very important thing that we want to work on. And I'd say, one of the things that we worked on for him, because he has a little bit more broad shoulders than I'd say the average person would have. And so one of the things that we try to work on with him is to really retracting those scapulas, because you can see when he finishes, he kind of has that kind of slumped over position. He's in a little bit of a rounded thoracic spine. So we try to push to get a little bit more thoracic spine overall activation. Also wanted to make sure that he keeps good stability or good control of that core, because he's coming up overhead. He gets into a little bit of a hyperextension in that low back right here. But it really wasn't too bad, something that we just wanted to address just to make sure there wasn't any future low back problems. But, we just wanted to, so we did that as more of a, precautionary measure. But, yeah, overall, he was very, very impressive when he came into the lab. So, Bryce, I hope you like this. I hope you like what we talked about here. We appreciate being able to use your stuff to hopefully try to help out other quarterbacks, and we'll be watching you at Cathedral this year, seeing how you do, and look forward to having you in sometime soon. So, and then for everybody else, I guess if you guys want to check out our membership page, as always, it's awesome stuff. We have exercises, we have different things that we go about, or that we talk about for mechanics, both as pitchers, as quarterbacks, as overall sprinters. We want to go into overall how to get the best mechanics as a mover. Then additionally, what we're going to do is, we have the whole YouTube channel where we have exercise on the YouTube channel as well. We have other breakdowns, we compare the differences between quarterbacks and pitchers. We have just as much value as we can is what we're trying to promote within the Performance Lab of California. So check out some of our stuff, and we'll continue to do these breakdowns. So we'll see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.